China just made a catastrophic mistake. They rushed to bring the Shenzhou 20 crew home early, but in doing so, they left the next three astronauts on Tiangong Station with no backup escape vehicle. The only spacecraft they have is Shenzhou 20, and it's damaged. A piece of orbital debris cracked its window, making it too dangerous for re-entry. So what's China's plan now? They're launching an unmanned rescue spacecraft in just 10 days. Compare that to NASA, who took 9 months to handle the Starliner crisis. Is this bold decision-making or reckless endangerment? What really went wrong up there? And why is the international community calling this a disaster? November 14th changed everything. The Shenzhou 20 crew undocked from Tiangong and headed home. Standard procedure, nothing unusual. But the Shenzhou 21 crew suddenly realized something terrifying. They were alone. No backup vehicle, no emergency escape pod, nothing. This wasn't supposed to happen. Every space station follows one absolute rule. Always maintain a docked lifeboat. The ISS does it, Mir did it. Yet somehow China's space agency allowed Tiangong to operate with zero escape vehicles for the first time in its history. Western media immediately asked uncomfortable questions. What happens if there's a fire? A depressurization event? A medical emergency? The Chinese astronauts had exactly one option. Climb into the damaged Shenzhou, 20 spacecraft still attached to the station, and pray the cracked window holds during re-entry. On November 14, the China Manned Space Engineering Office released their assessment. After reviewing images, running simulations, checking design specs, and conducting wind tunnel tests, their conclusion was definitive. Shenzhou 20 is not safe for human re-entry. The crack sits on the outer heat-resistant glass layer of the crew cabin window. Small, maybe a few centimeters. But during re-entry, that spacecraft will travel at 28,000 kilometers per hour through the atmosphere. Temperatures outside reach 1,650 degrees Celsius. The plasma doesn't care about small cracks. It finds weaknesses and exploits them. If that outer layer fails, the thermal protection breaks down. Inner layers get exposed to superheated plasma. The window structure degrades. Then, catastrophic depressurization. You'd have maybe 3 seconds before losing consciousness. The cause? Orbital debris. Something tiny traveling at incredible velocity punched through the window. This is the reality of space in 2025. Over 36,000 tracked debris pieces larger than 10 centimeters orbit Earth. Millions of smaller fragments, too small to track. Each one a potential bullet. Within 72 hours, China announced their solution. They're accelerating Shenzhou 22 by 5 months. Originally scheduled for April or May 2026, it'll now launch unmanned around November 24th or 25th from Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. An airspace closure notice confirmed the timeline on November 17th. The Long March 2F rocket is being prepared. The spacecraft is being loaded with supplies, food, scientific equipment, new technology, and even chicken wings for the crew's celebrations with their new space microwave. 10 days. That's how long Shenzhou 21 will be without a proper escape vehicle. 10 days knowing that if something goes catastrophically wrong, their only option is a spacecraft with a cracked window that engineers declared unsafe. Rewind to June 2024. Boeing's Starliner docked with the ISS, carrying Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore for what should have been 8 days. But engineers discovered serious problems, helium leaks and thruster failures. NASA faced a decision. Starliner had a 96 to 97% chance of returning safely. Good odds. But NASA Administrator Bill Nelson looked at that remaining 3 to 4% risk and said no. These astronauts had dedicated decades to the program. Their safety wasn't negotiable. NASA contacted SpaceX and reconfigured Crew 9 Dragon. Instead of 4 astronauts, they'd launch only 2. Nick Hague and Alexander Gerbunov. 2 empty seats waited for Sunita and Butch. The complication? SpaceX's launch schedule was packed. They couldn't accelerate Crew 9 without disrupting other missions. So NASA extended the docked Crew 8 Dragon by nearly a month to ensure the ISS always had an escape vehicle. Safety first. Always. The result? 9 months in space instead of 8 days. Sunita and Butch became the longest-serving U.S. astronauts in a single mission. They conducted research, maintained the station, and publicly stated they never felt stranded. They called it a once-in-a-lifetime experience. When they returned in March 2025, SpaceX received widespread praise. Even President Trump commented on Elon's genius and joked about personally paying their salaries for the extra months. Both situations involved astronauts needing rescue. Both required complex solutions, but the outcomes were completely different. NASA took 9 months and received praise. China is taking 10 days and receiving criticism. Why? The answer lies in approach. NASA's philosophy, astronaut safety above everything, even if it means waiting months. China's approach prioritizes speed and efficiency, even if that means accepting higher risks. When China reduced their crew from 6 to 3 so quickly, it wasn't mission requirements. Space analysts say it revealed uncertainty about whether their life support could safely sustain 6 people for extended periods. The rapid rotation wasn't careful planning, it was crisis management. The Shenzhou spacecraft uses 3 modules: orbital module, re-entry capsule, and service module. That re-entry capsule has 4 windows. One is now compromised. The outer thermal glass layer has a crack from debris impact. Compare this to SpaceX's Crew Dragon. In 5 years of crewed flights, Dragon has never experienced a window failure or significant debris strike. The closest incident was during Crew 2 in 2021, when debris from a Japanese H-2A rocket passed within 1 to 2 kilometers. The crew suited up, but nothing happened. The debris missed. Dragon uses Whipple shielding, a dual-wall protective system that absorbs impacts from micrometeoroids and small debris under a millimeter. It's not perfect, but it significantly reduces catastrophic damage risk. Shenzhou uses similar protection, but something got through. An official from China's Manned Space Engineering Office, speaking November 15th, confirmed the rescue plan, but acknowledged the supply situation is becoming critical. With Shenzhou 20's crew staying far longer than planned, Tiangong's consumables are running low. Life support systems are under extra load. The station wasn't designed for this kind of extended operation with reduced logistics support. The unmanned Shenzhou 22 will bring food, daily supplies, and equipment, but it's temporary. The real question, how long can Shenzhou 21 safely remain on station? What's the long-term plan now that the schedule is completely disrupted? This incident highlights a growing crisis every space agency faces. Orbital debris is getting worse. More satellites launch yearly. More rockets deposit debris. More collisions create fragments. The space around Earth is becoming increasingly crowded and dangerous. In 2009, an inactive Russian satellite collided with an American Iridium satellite, creating thousands of debris pieces. In 2021, Russia's anti-satellite missile test generated over 1,500 trackable fragments. China's 2007 anti-satellite test created more than 3,000 pieces still orbiting today. The Shenzhou 20 window crack is a wake-up call. If small debris can compromise a spacecraft window, what else is vulnerable? Solar panels? Docking ports? Life support systems? While China manages their crisis, American companies push forward. On November 17th, Blue Origin successfully landed their New Glenn booster for the first time. Jeff Bezos flooded social media with celebratory photos, clearly trying to impress rival Elon Musk. Blue Origin plans to reuse that exact booster for the next launch in early 2026. Strategic timing, it lines up with SpaceX's first Starship Block 3 launch. Blue Origin seems determined to compete. They're focusing on building booster inventory rather than rushing launch cadence. CEO Dave Limp says they're aiming for 21st stages per year. The goal, sustainable operations, not flashy demonstrations. The upcoming mission will carry the Blue Moon Mark 1 lander, testing systems for NASA's Artemis 5 in 2029. If the schedule slips, the lander moves to New Glenn's 4th flight. No rush, no panic, just methodical development. It's a stark contrast to the situation on Tiangong. 2 space agencies, 2 emergencies, 2 completely different approaches. NASA chose caution, 9 months, careful planning, 0 safety compromises. Result? Astronauts came home safely. SpaceX earned global praise. China chose speed, 10 days, accelerated mission, calculated risks. Result? international criticism and serious questions about astronaut safety. But both situations reveal the same truth. Space is getting more dangerous. That debris strike on Shenzhou 20 wasn't a freak accident. It's a warning. Over 36,000 tracked objects and millions of fragments orbit Earth right now. This will happen again. The question isn't if, it's when. And which philosophy will prove right? Right now, 3 astronauts wait on Tiangong for rescue. Every hour without a safe escape vehicle is another hour of unnecessary risk. What's your take? Is China's 10-day response bold or reckless? Should agencies prioritize speed or safety when lives hang in the balance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Space Update 24 hours for more breaking space news. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss updates on this developing story. If this video shocked you, share it. More people need to understand what's really happening 400 kilometers above our heads. Thanks for watching Space Update 24 hours. Stay informed.